And welcome to a brand new episode of the Rebel Radio Podcast. Full crew here today, Matt and Long hanging out with me. And make sure you go to the rebelradiopodcast.com, which you might be on already if you're listening to it there. And check out all those links for our social medias and all the different places you can listen to the podcast, as always. And listen to our survival story last week from our return from Comic Palooza. And many other great episodes, 450 of them. So lots of episodes to listen to.
Yeah.
And more to come as we're about halfway through. This is the halfway point of the year, technically this weekend, end of June, beginning of July.
Yeah, it's technically, right in the middle of the year.
Yeah, man, it's hard to believe we're halfway through 2025. And before you know it, it'll be 2026. And we'll be etching towards 500 episodes. And that's wild, man. This year is fucking blown by. I'm like, damn, it's July already? Yeah. If it's have a birthday, that sucks. I really don't want to turn a year older.
Blown by for the wrong reasons on my end.
It's like when you're a kid, man, you look forward to a birthday. When you get older, you're like, man, I don't want to have another birthday. Fuck this.
Damn, another one?
It's like,
I'm old, dude.
I know. And then my kids want to remind me constantly that you're old, Dad. I'm like, thanks. Appreciate it. I feel it in my bones sometimes. Trust me. Yeah, I haven't even thought about my birthday movie pick yet. I'll have to figure that one out.
Howard the Duck.
Fuck no. That would be Frank. That would be Frank's fucking birthday movie pick.
That would be.
No, I've got some ideas. I'll come up with something.
Yeah,
and figure out when we're going to record, because that's a whole nother thing. I'm going to be kind of not here Thursday through Sunday morning that weekend, so be in San Antonio. Apparently, this whole thing has gotten planned around my family, and I'm kind of like, okay, whatever.
Nice.
So yeah, I mean, it's not a bad thing or anything. It's just kind of like, it's a long story. But anyway, so how are you fellas? It's good. It says July 4th weekend. Happy July 4th.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Happy Independence Day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Shout out some fireworks. I saw a penis firework in the sky. I knew immediately that was Matt's.
Oh, you saw that?
No, I didn't really see it. I'm just. I just sent you that picture, and I'm like,
took it off like Twitter or something.
Yeah, I did. It was like Twitter or something.
Yeah, that's the equivalent of my bat signal. Someone summons me that some special graffiti needs to be written.
Yes, I mean, I remember when we used to work at the old store together, man. You've had a thing about drawing penises, and we don't judge, Matt. Hey, man, whatever you were into back then,
it happens. Comes a time in every guy's life where he just draws a bunch of dicks everywhere, like Jonah Hill.
I've never done that. No.
You've never seen Superbad.
Jonah Hill. Superbad. I just said I've never drawn dicks. So long have you?
Huh?
Hey, have you ever had desire to draw a bunch of dicks? No.
No.
It's just you, man.
I drew sharks and Godzilla.
Matt drew dicks.
Sounds more normal than. Oh man.
But yeah, man. I had a pretty good. Okay, July 4th. Just it was a long day yesterday between work and then popping some crackers.
Had some steaks today, and then
nice.
Found out my dad went to the emergency room this morning. I'm like,
oh no.
Okay. So,
well, best wishes to him. Yeah. I did.
Yeah, hopefully
he's gotten a lot better with when they put 2 stents in his arteries. So
right.
Hopefully, it's a minor.
Yeah,
we'll see how it goes.
But other than that, man, it's been a week, and not to go from your dad being in hospital to mourning people, man. But we've had some celebrities this week that have left us, man. We Adam Mike Colley, or that played Adam Piet in Star Wars. He passed on this week. I met him years ago at a convention, and I actually have his autograph on the wall. And I thought that was another one of our original Star Wars cast members is gone. Yeah. And a big one that hit this week was Michael Madsen, man, at 67. Great character actor. If you've seen a Quentin Tarantino movie, you've seen Madsen in action. We just covered the second Sin City. He was in the first one. And I read an interesting story that Robert Rodriguez told all the actors they weren't allowed to ad-lib anything because they wanted the Sin City to be right off the comic book, except for Michael Madsen. They allowed him to ad-lib his lines because he was just too good at it to come up with lines for his character.
Yeah.
And, for me, his most iconic role is Reservoir Dogs. I mean, that's my favorite Tarantino movie. I mean, Mr. Blonde is such a great character, just such a great written character, and he plays him so well. And an evil bastard, but just such a memorable scene with the police officer and him dancing, to the song is escaping.
Stuck in the middle with you.
Stuck in the middle with you. That's right, Matt.
They paid
just such an iconic scene, man. Very memorable. One of the most iconic scenes of '90s films. And
War Games, Thelma and Louise, Reservoir Dogs, Hateful Eight.
Yeah. I mean, Kill Bill. He was in several Tarantino films.
Species. He's in one of my guilty pleasure horror films that I like. Species, as the Manhunter. Yeah,
such a terrible movie, but yeah.
But he's in it. They at least
man.
I didn't even one of the better actors to.
I didn't even know his sister was Virginia Madsen. I just thought they had the same last name, and of course she's probably, in my circles, best known for the original Highlander film.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've seen her other things, but I just never put it together that they were brother and sister. And she paid tribute to her brother. But man, just a good character actor, and it was funny that Long you texted that you sometimes got him mixed up with Tom Sizemore, but that's a fair thing, man. There's a lot of character actors that are like that, that appear in those kind of crime movie, war movies, and you're like, man, I've seen this guy in that movie. Is that guy? He's someone else. No.
Yeah.
So that's not uncommon.
He wasn't in a lot of films, was he? I mean, not really.
I mean, he had a decent career.
One movie every 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I don't think he had a huge filmography, but I mean, but enough memorable ones. I think he's one of those guys that just stuck out in the roles he was in. So he's memorable for that. I think it's fair to say, but he left his mark, for sure. I think in the Tarantino films alone.
Yeah, definitely in the Tarantino films.
Yeah. And so he is no longer with us. And then I read that Mark Snow, composer for the X-Files, also passed. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I mean, definitely an iconic musical score there. I think anybody hears the X-Files music, even if you're not a fan, you know what it's from. Just one of those things that's very iconic. So, yeah, man.
Julian McMahon.
Who?
The original Doctor Doom. Theatrical release, at least.
Yeah.
He was also Nip Tuck and Charm.
Yeah, I guess he's better known as a TV actor.
Yeah. What were you saying, Long?
No. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I first saw him in Charmed because it's like, I liked Shannon Daughtry in Charmed. Jackie watched a lot of Charmed too, and he was a reoccurring actor in that series. But yeah, mainly on the TV screen. But he had a few TV roles. Cancer. 57 years old. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's the second Charmed actor to die from cancer 2 years in a row. Shannon and then
Doherty, not Daughtry.
Yeah. Daughtry, sorry.
Doherty.
Sorry. I always say I guess because I'm used like Chris Daughtry. I always think of Chris Daughtry, but it's Doherty.
Yeah, Shannon Doherty.
Yeah.
So, man. So Matt, man, why? All right, dude, you can't dog in this, man. What? How do you not like that Running Man trailer, dude? It's fucking Edgar Wright directing it and writing it from the script from the original story.
I get it,
dude. It looks dope as fuck, man. Now I saw the trailer today for something I saw in theaters. I'll talk about it in a little bit. And the online trailer, the Radar trailer, is much better than the theatrical trailer. Man, it looks freaking great, dude. Glenn Powell, I think, is perfect for that role. Edgar Wright. I mean, it's Edgar Wright directing it, man. It's like you got to get off Arnold Schwarzenegger's cock, dude. It's okay because the original movie's not that great. Yeah. We did on the podcast. It's okay. It's not that good.
it inspired. It was the
I don't
sole
give a fuck what
inspiration for American
inspired.
Gladiators.
That's great. It inspired a TV show. It doesn't make it a great movie.
Yeah, but it's like I
I'm
wish
not saying
we
the
would
new
have
one's going
that
to be great
concept.
either, but it looks great. You can't dog it from a trailer, man.
No, I and mainly I said that tongue in cheek. It's I like.
Oh, so you're going to throw the
campiness.
old text message, unable to read what it means in a text. I
Well,
get
I'm
it.
not going to say I'm not
I know.
disappointed. I'm disappointed that it doesn't have the gladiators in it. And I know
Well,
it's
it's
not
a trailer. We don't know
necessarily.
that.
Maybe there are some.
But
Maybe because it looks like there's a badass killer coming after him.
and I think it looks like it's based more on the original novel, because the original novel had this whole idea of all this massive tech throughout the world, and the original film had to tone that down because they didn't have that kind of special effects back then. So I think this looks like it's more where, because I think I swear I've read the book, like I remember reading it, and I swear in the book like there's cameras everywhere following him, like all over the city and stuff. So I think this is based on more of that original story.
Okay. But yeah, I like the just the gladiator concept. You had Jim Brown, you had Jesse Ventura, and I just think Jesse Ventura's character is just so hilarious in the first one. Just the overly macho, guy, Captain Freedom, and then the AI, quote unquote AI videos that they put together to frame Arnold or make it look like he died, make it look like he did something he didn't do. But I do feel like we've got a better tech to make this a better and more enjoyable film. The original one, it was, it did its thing. It's not one of Arnold's better films. Like you said, the original one it's not a particularly strong film. But man, it's got one of Arnold's best lines in it. I hope you left enough room for my fist, because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and rip out your goddamn spine.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy the original. Don't
I
get
hope
me
he
wrong,
says
but
something similar,
I enjoy the original for nostalgic reasons, but I can safely say it's not like a great film. But I mean, I think the new one, there's not, like we talked about this many times over the years on the podcast. There's like movies that should be remade and movies that aren't. I feel like The Running Man is not something that's so popular that can't be remade or refreshed.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel from watching the Glenn Powell trailer and the Edgar Wright movie. It looks like a refreshing take on it, with modern technology, and I think it could be a lot of fun. Now, is it something I'll see in theaters? Probably not. I'll wait for it, But I mean, Edgar Wright's got a great track record. Glenn Powell's the hot actor on the planet right now.
Yeah.
So I'm down for it. And it was cool. I kind of forgot they were making that, to be honest. So the trailer hit this week. I remember reading about it, that Glenn Powell's going to star in it, and I just like, oh yeah, this is coming out. It's like, that's cool. I didn't know how far along it was when it was coming out. Oh, it's this year apparently.
I read, I don't know if he reached out to Arnold or not, but I know he reached out to Tom Cruise and about his new movie, The Running Man, and Tom said, make sure that you video yourself running, because
I think I saw.
He's like, trust me, you don't look as cool as you think you look when you're running.
And I'm glad you mentioned Tom Cruise. A quick shout out. Happy birthday, Tom Cruise, July 3rd. We do that.
Yes.
That's kind of become a thing over the years. Happy birthday to
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
This is the first year we haven't done a Tom Cruise movie for his birthday in a while, right?
Yeah. I guess not. That's Long's fault, because he wanted to do the movie we're doing today. So we're blaming Long.
Yeah.
That one. But I think it's because we just did Mission Impossible. We just did Rogue Nation, to be fair. I think I thought about it, and I was like, well, we just did Rogue Nation. We just did a Cruise film a few weeks ago. So that's fair. So we did cover Cruise this month, or at least 5 weeks ago. So we did, But yeah, man. So second, I want to talk about this real quick, then we'll get on to some things we watched.
There's an Arnold cameo.
We it's not online yet. It's only in theaters, and that's the trailer for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. But I'm sure you might have read descriptions or some leaked versions out there. So I saw the trailer today, because I'll just say, I'll talk about it in a minute, but I did go see Jurassic World, and the trailer doesn't show much. It shows some footage of Tom Holland and John Bernthal having a conversation, and it says coming next year. this is we all know the story of the Odyssey. We all read parts of it or whatever in school back in the day. I don't know if they still teach it, but when me and Long, and I'm sure you, Matt, went to school, they taught the Odyssey. And many directors over the years have done various versions of it, but it's believed to be truly unfilmable, for how much it entails, especially in one film. Now, Nolan has not come out and said if this is going to be multiple films. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be about 3 hours long. If there's a director that can take on the task of a complex project like this, it is Christopher Nolan, I do believe. I'm very intrigued by it. I do question why Nolan went all of a sudden from making Batman films and to doing original work like Inception and Dunkirk, which I know Dunkirk's based on a real event, but he adapted him from I believe, a novel.
Mm-hmm.
Why is Nolan all of a sudden doing novel adaptations? He did Oppenheimer and Odyssey and Dunkirk. I'm like, I kind of miss him doing Inception and original stuff. Maybe that's just me being selfish. But that's fair, right? Because I fucking love Inception. I love that movie, and I just
Tenet.
Tenet was great.
Whatever catches his fancy, really. I mean, he does what he wants.
No, I know, and I agree with that. I just and Oppenheimer was great, so I'm sure the Odyssey is going to be pretty fantastic as well. But man, it's an ambitious project, But
no, it won't be as much of a downer as freaking Troy was. Jesus, that was depressing as ending.
Yeah, I know, but I like Troy. Still a cool movie. And but yeah, man. So we'll see. But the trailer is in theaters now. I'm sure it'll be online the next few days. I think they put it out just to get people to. I don't know if the trailer will be exclusive to theaters or not. If not, you really don't miss anything. But so yeah, so I did go see Jurassic World Rebirth with my oldest.
How was it?
Okay, here's my thing with these. You can sit here with these Transformers, Ninja Turtles, dinosaur movies, hell, Godzilla films, and pick them apart left and right. It would be easy to do that with Jurassic World Rebirth, but it gave me what I wanted. I saw dinosaurs on the screen. I saw them kicking ass. It's, a tourist trap, paper thin plot, that when the plot unfolds, you're like, okay, they're all going to fucking get eaten. I mean, it's going to happen, right?
Sounds like a butt's about to come up. There you go. But
I enjoyed it. I liked it. I had a lot of fun with it. It does feel a bit forced the way they rebirth the franchise, so to speak. It's like, okay, that's convenient. I'll just tell you, there's another island. You're like, oh, okay. But it's fine. If I had, me and Matt last week did Jurassic World and we ranked the film. So if I had to put this on there, I'll go down real quick. I made the original one was number 1. I said Jurassic World was number 2. I gave Lost World number 3. What did I do with Matt? I think I gave Dominion number 4, Jurassic Park 3 number 5, and Fallen King number 6. I would probably put this 4. So,
what about JP3?
I think I had JP3 I would move it down to 5. I think I had it at 4. I'd put it underneath this. And it's funny because it has a lot of elements of JP3 in the story that involve a family and stuff. So there's some rehash in Rebirth. And
can we get a Jurassic Park movie without any fucking kids in it?
Yeah, there is some rehash in Rebirth. But so I wouldn't say it felt new or refreshed. Maybe some of the dinosaurs. Gareth Edwards does a good job with some of the horror elements of it. The way he the way he unfolded his Godzilla film. Some of that, keeping things secret till the right time, and I think that worked really well. And it's wonderfully shot film, as his movies usually are. It's just a big monster movie. It's a big dumb fun at the theater kind of movie, and that's what you expect, I think, when you go see those. Yeah, it's a paper thin plot, but it works better than the Fallen Kingdom plot, where they're selling dinosaurs on a black market, doing all kind of weird shit that made no sense. And as a typical Jurassic Park movie, there's illogical choices that don't make any sense. And even as a viewer, you're like going, why would you fucking do that? But whatever. You have to have a reason for dinosaurs to do shit. Yeah. So it was cool.
I'll catch it when it comes out on streaming.
Yeah, I don't think you're missing anything by not seeing the
Yeah.
theater or something. I just think my little ones were at my brother's all day, and it's like, Michael, you want to do something? Let's just go see it. And we're like, yeah, we'll go see it. So it didn't cost me much. It was just me and him. So yeah.
Ivan White though went.
He wanted to go, but he decided he wanted to play with cousins more.
So
he chose to play with his cousins. So because he was kind of excited about it, but I will give this some credit. I think it being that Gareth Edwards directed, it brought back some of the scare stuff in it. There's some frightening moments like the early films like Spielberg had.
Okay.
So I thought that was cool. It wasn't, because I feel like the Jurassic World trilogy didn't. It was more spectacle, to be fair. Where this did bring back some frightening
Even
moments.
though the movie may not be good or great, I just hope that it makes enough money to give it, Gareth Edwards a continuing film career.
Tracking for about 150 to 170 million opening weekend, so should do pretty well.
Okay, that's good.
It was packed. Well, actually, when I got home, I wanted to go to the 3:00. There was like hardly any seats except right up front, and then the 4:15, hardly any seats except right up front. So I ended up going like 4:30. I don't like sitting right up front where it's right in your face, So the screenings were selling out, and so so that's a good sign.
That's good.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I watched that, and that's really all I've really watched this week. But I did get a chance to go see that in theaters. I was scrolling HBO Max and I saw the new Batman Ninja anime film is on there, so I'll check that out. And Ryan Coogler's Sinners hit HBO Max as well, so I'm going to try to check that out too sometime in the next couple of weeks. But Jurassic World Rebirth, man, good time theaters. Like I said, I don't take those movies too seriously. I mean, I love giant monster movies, just like you guys do. Grew up watching them, and they're a fun time. And I don't like the overly gory, horrified monster movies, unless they're like Aliens. I'm fine with Aliens, but just give me a good time in theaters. It's like a happy ending type good time.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys watch.
So I only checked out one thing new this week, and that was something you mentioned, Sinners. Sinners hit HBO Max, and I thought about taking the kids to Jurassic World, but when I saw that, I was like, I'm just going to stay home and I'll watch Sinners when they go to bed. And so put them to bed 4th of July, and me and Jackie stayed up and watched Sinners. And if you like Irish vampires, and it works, Irish vampires work, like that play Flogging Molly-esque music. Their music is a big theme in this movie, but it's not a musical. It makes sense, and it does add to the horror theme of this movie, which, I guess I didn't pick that up from the trailer originally. I had to read that it was about vampires to know that beforehand, but essentially it's set in the 1920s. And Michael B. Jordan plays a set of twins that want to open up a place, and that's whenever these vampires.
Don't say too much because I want to watch it.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, and
score it, Matt, score it.
It's, man, I would give it, if I'm giving it a letter grade, I would say it's a solid B. I would give it a B.
Wow. As most people rating it really high, say it's one of Coogler's best of his career.
Yeah.
Seems low. Just from everything I've read. I'm not judging because I haven't seen it yet. But
now,
a lot of people are saying this is Coogler's best work. So
I missed some parts because the kids were like getting up, and I didn't want them to watch it. I do like it.
Right.
And right now I'll probably give it a B, but there's not, like, I don't know. It's tough to give a horror movie an A. It's got to be like,
Come on. Nightmare on Elm Street's an A.
Yeah, Nightmare on Elm Street's an A. And this is close.
Leprechaun's an A.
No, Leprechaun's not an A.
No,
dude.
You're right. There's not a lot of horror movies are rare. Maybe 2 or 3.
I want this to be pot of gold. When you mentioned Irish vampires, for some reason, Irish and
pots of gold.
Yeah.
But I love Michael B. Jordan in this film. Haley Steinfeld is good in this film as well.
Oh shit, she's in it.
She's always good in everything though.
Oh, dude, and she is very, like, sexy in her own way. The way she talks and the way she talks to Michael B. Jordan's character, one of the twins. But yeah, I like it. I think you should go check it out. It's definitely worth watching, especially on Max. I don't know if I would have paid to go see this in theaters, but I'm pretty particular about my horror. But I like this.
Watch it. I mean, it's kind of crazy to think that Coogler directed Creed, which is great. Black Panther is great, and then I've heard people saying that this is like the best of his career. Because I'm like, that sets a high bar. Considering
it's not,
maybe it's because it's different than his other things.
Maybe so. It is different.
But the thing about Creed is, I can see why they could say that because I love Creed, right? But to be fair, Creed's a bit of a rehash because it's a Rocky sequel. Been there, done that kind of stuff. So maybe people are considering it because this is an original work, And
yeah,
I'm going to cut you off real quick to throw a warning out there, Matt. If you like, there is something else I kind of watched, and then I'll let you continue. If you put that Day the Earth Blew Up Looney Tunes movie on for your kids, beware. It's one of these new age kid films. It's like an anxiety attack. I couldn't keep up what was going on. There's all kinds of chaos in the movie. I'm watching it. My mind couldn't even pull it together. It's like one of those kind of, what I'm talking about. One of those like just those everything happens for no reason at all to keep the kids' attention kind of movies. I'm like, what is this? Even my kids weren't even that interested. They're like, I don't know, Dad. We're not sure what's going on. So just beware before you put that Looney Tunes movie on.
A Looney Tunes movie?
Yeah, there's a new Looney Tunes movie on Max called The Day the Earth Blew Up.
Huh.
It's wild. It's not the Looney Tunes we grew up with.
Yeah, Jackie just said the same thing. She rates it a B as well. I just texted her. So yeah, both of us saying B. Now she started after it had already went on, but and she does say she needs more plot, but and she came on
miss half the movie, and yeah.
I think the part that she missed, you can miss. Like you could probably start the movie whenever like you see them partying in the film, and it would be good. But Delroy Lindo's in it
over the next couple of weeks.
I miss Delroy Lindo, man, and I was like, dude, Delroy Lindo, he's in the film. I like he's definitely aged, and there's a lot of good acting here. I will say for a horror movie, there's a lot of good acting. There's a lot for a few different things, like acting in different aspects.
Well, I mean, that's Coogler. I mean, I will argue that Black Panther is still one of the best acted Marvel films.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Coogler has high expectations of his actors.
So, definitely check it out if you have an HBO Max account. And even if you don't have an HBO Max account, whatever deal they're running, I think it would be a good deal to pay the $10 or the $8 or whatever it is to get this for a month and just to check out Sinners, because it's good. It's one of the best seen in a while.
Well, I mean, I think Max is. I mean, I know I mooch off of yours, and I'll just say that, but I think if I did it, I think it's for streaming services. I think it's the best one for its value. Yeah, because Warner Brothers has such a large library of films. I mean, it's like you can always find something. Sometimes you cruise Netflix, you're like, man, there's nothing I want to watch, but you can almost always find something on Max, and that's a fact. Just a great library.
That's a fact, Jack.
And they have the Criterion stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, they have a deal with them. They Turning Classic Movies. I mean, shoot, it's a great service. Well, been a couple weeks since we saw you. I'm sure you've watched something.
I just one thing I did kind of go out of my way to watch was on Netflix, and it was the documentary of the Titan submersible that imploded.
You mentioned that.
Yeah, it was a 2-hour featurette, and man, it was just messed up. How of a sociopath Stockton Rush was, who, like, it's just boggles my mind. Like, he was so tunnel vision about going down to the Titanic, and then, it's just crazy. You have to watch it because, man, Yeah, he was an asshole. And
Is it
that,
part of that train wreck series on Netflix? Those documentaries,
uh,
or is it
no,
its own thing?
not that I know of. It's just like its
No.
own hour and a half, its own thing, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one example is like, so the Titan sub had two holes. The
Hmm.
first hole cracked, and so they built another one to improve upon it. But they only built a 1/3 scale model of it, and they tested it, and it cracked under testing. And
Shit.
he still went ahead with building the final hole, because he was just like, "You guys are wrong, and I am right," basically.
Pretty arrogant.
Very arrogant. He says, "I don't need international standard testing because I know I'm right. I'm an engineer," and stuff like that. And it's like me versus the world. It's a like narcissist, but worse.
Damn.
So yeah, and
Hmm.
yeah, it's fucked up. But not to give too much away, but that's just one of messed up things about it. So hey, he found out they didn't work though.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he definitely did.
yeah,
Obviously.
yeah. Um, but yeah, I recommend it, especially if you're fascinated by all that stuff. But what else did I see? Oh, I played a ton of Steam games. Um, but what was the one game I was playing? I was playing Dave the Diver. That's
Dave
a
the
fun
Diver.
game. Just cozy, chill games. Yeah. So nothing too demanding.
Sometimes those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've kind of
Uh,
dove back into NCAA football this past week. Just took a break of anything complicated. Like I said, just sit back, play with football, and not be stressed.
yeah. So
Yeah. Cool.
but yeah, that's all I have. So
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into today's featured film. As this is another edition of the Rebel Radio Podcast Revisits, and which sounds kind of weird because we revisit a film every week. But what we mean is revisit films we've already covered, and we decide to come back around and do them again. This was an appropriate one because it's reached its 50th anniversary this past couple months, and it's there's not I was thinking about it. There's one thing it means we're getting old. Some of these films that we grew up with are turning 50. I mean, well, Star Wars will turn 50 in a couple of years. But this feels like, I know there's some classics out there, Casablanca and the Westerns that we've grown up watching that have already had their anniversaries. But this film feels like more important than some of those. And I think it's because it's such a huge pop culture phenomenon.
Yes.
And that is Jaws, directed by the great Steven Spielberg, who we've said many times in the show that arguably our greatest director of our time, and based on a novel and with a score by John Williams. And this many people call the first summer blockbuster, and because it came out and it was a massive hit, which spawned 3 sequels, and that are none. Well, the second one's okay, but the third and fourth one are
second one's
not worth your time. Especially the fourth one. My God, what a train wreck of a film! But but the original, man, it's such a classic film. Anyone seen it knows the story. It's Amity Island in the summer, and New England police chief play. And what's his character's name? And why is it escaping me?
Chief Brody.
Brody. That's right. It takes on the job to be the police chief for the summer, and it's his first time there. And he's really nervous about it because he doesn't like water and he doesn't like islands, but the family needs the money, so it pays well, and so he takes on the job. And this is a summer resort town, and turns out that there's a shark that kills a girl and who's swimming at night, and he thinks they should shut down the beaches, but the mayor is not going to have any of that because that's how the town makes their money.
Yep.
But things go from bad to worse as this great white continues to hunt people. And so he brings in a marine biologist who knows his way around sharks, and he hires a local fisherman played by the great Robert Shaw, as they go hunt this shark, and we all know how it ends. They think they need a bigger boat, but somehow they find a way to kill this shark and save the day. And it's maybe not as heroic as that sounds when I say save the day, because this is definitely a more heavy movie than a heroic film. But what a great film this is. One of the all-time classics. And if you are listening to podcasts, you've never seen this, what are you doing? Stop what you're doing right now. All these movies are on Peacock. Go and watch them and watch the original Jaws. Then come back and listen to the rest of the show. Because this is, if you were to make a top 50 list of movies people must see before they die, this is on it. Easily. I mean, there's no doubt. But, I mean, yeah. You could argue it's a top 10 of all time. You wouldn't be wrong. I don't know if it personally would make my top 10, but if one of you guys put in your top 10 of all time, I wouldn't argue with you. Hey,
it's in my top 5 for sure.
Yeah. And I rewatched it this week for the first time since we did it on the podcast 3 or 4 years ago, and I thoroughly and still enjoy this movie a lot.
Yes.
It's a great film. It unfolds at a great pace, and it plays out like a novel on screen. And it had just so many elements of it work. It's well acted. The atmosphere Spielberg captures is fantastic. There's so much that you can be said about this film.
Yeah.
And I know we've got some plans for some things we want to talk about, but I just you guys gush on Jaws a little bit. I know Long Distance is a movie that's right up there for you. A very important film to you and your love of monster movies and things like that.
Yeah. I know it was like 3 or 4 years later since we last seen it, and it was for my birthday podcast episode. I think it's like one of the first ones I've done on the show since your reboot. I was wondering, your kids are a little older now. Did any of them watch it with you?
They didn't this week when I was watching it, but I know they've seen it.
Yeah. Well, and I was like, when I suggested this episode, and thank you, Mark, for squeezing this one in. I'm sure you had like other episodes in mind.
No, actually, I usually have movies about 6 weeks planned out. I have not sat down to plan the rest of July and August yet.
Really? Do. Oh, okay.
I've been lazy about that. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad I helped out in some small way. But yeah, like I kept seeing all these 50th anniversary features coming up on YouTube. It's like, I think we should do one for Rebel Radio. I mean, it's a landmark film, and and it's kind of funny how this movie was based loosely on the shark attacks of 1916 in New Jersey. 5 people were killed by a bull shark or a couple of bull sharks.
Yeah.
Probably one of the few shark species in the world that can go from saltwater to freshwater, which is kind of scary if you think about it. And then, and I wasn't really expecting you guys to rewatch the film, but because for me personally, it's like one of those films that I know each and every line, each every moment.
I felt that way too, but I kind of wanted to watch it, so I did.
Yeah. For me personally, this is definitely one of the only 2 or 3 films that I know by heart, and I know every line. So, but anyhow, I was just saying that we should come up with you guys could come up with a top 3. I came up with a top 5 since it was my idea of 5 notable things about Jaws, whether it's negative or positive, whether it affected you or the overall population in general. But so I'll just start off the list with 2 freebies here.
There we go.
Top 5 and top 4, and then I'll start off with the top 3, and then I'll turn it over to you guys. But yeah, just 5 things about Jaws. Number 5 is, Roy Scheider. He's one of my favorite character actors. A very atypical lead character in the movie. He's aquaphobic. His character's aquaphobic, and Oh, he just has a presence to him. Um, he and you can feel the tension from him when he's worried. You know he's worried. He's just, you know, uh, when he's stressed out, you can tell he's stressed out, even though he's not emoting much. He just has that kind of
He
that high
can do that
strung.
with his face.
Yeah,
Just his facial expressions. You can tell, what his character is feeling. That's for
yeah.
sure.
And also, I think he has definitely one of the best father and son moments in film history. No, not very many people talk about it, but after he got slapped by the mother of Christy, and then he's just lamenting about it and just kind of melancholy. His son is right there trying to cheer him up. That it's like if you can't relate to that, I mean, to that moment, I don't know what to say. But quiet, subdued moment, but not talked about enough about the father and son.
Yeah.
And then he was the final girl, so to speak. Him and Matt Hooper. But yeah, he got the final shot in. So that's my number 5. Number 4. The shark made me scared to go to the beaches as a kid. Of course, I know that's cliche, but yeah, especially in Galveston. Those muddy ass waters. You
Not only
don't see
that,
anything. Yeah.
there's a great white they've tracked into the Gulf right now. He's
Oh,
been
really?
down as
Yeah.
far near
Corpus Christi.
and he's apparently headed up north.
Lee Beth.
Oh, wow.
Lee Beth.
Yep.
Interesting. Did they say how big it was?
200 to like 2,000 pounds or something. It's a big one.
Probably 15 to 19 footer.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's crazy because I mean,
2,600 pounds, 14 feet.
Okay,
Fuck
that's
that.
Yeah, It's kind of funny. In great white sharks, female sharks are larger than the male sharks. But yeah, it's like I'd rather swim in Florida where it's crystal clear blue instead of the shit color water in Galveston. But I heard it's not as brown at the moment, but it's still
It has its moments.
Yeah. Still murky as hell. And then to start off the list to bring you guys in, my number 3 thing about Jaws is the movie was very suspenseful. It didn't see the shark as much, and all because the movie was over budget, over budget, and it's the biggest traumatic shooting experience that Steven Spielberg has ever experienced in his life. So that's my number 3. I'll pass it to you, Matt. What's your number 3 thing about Jaws?
Man, I was
Notable thing.
I was gonna say something similar to what you said about the unrealistic fear of sharks. When I know like shark attacks don't happen as often as this shark would attack people in the the bay that it was in, and it started a phenomena of people like viewing sharks in a different way. Before this, it's like they weren't viewed as as terrifying as they were from this film, where they had all these mechanical sharks, a lot of which stopped functioning properly because they tested it in a freshwater tank, and then the saltwater just jacked up its controls. But it's and from that it stemmed conservation efforts. So I'll kind of tangent off, and a lot of animal researchers and marine biologists have pushed conservation efforts to preserve sharks and stop people, I guess, from killing them and stuff, because I guess a lot of people like to eat sharks. I caught a shark earlier this year, and usually there's somebody that wants to turn it into shark steak, but I couldn't do that. It was just kind of weird just having a shark right there. I was glad I did not have to touch it. I just kind of held the line. They told me
In Australia, they call sharks guppies.
Really, guppies?
No. I'm making that up because there was they used to show Foster's Australian beer on
Yeah,
TV, and when they show a great, it was like when they show a great white, it's like guppy, and then
guppy.
you see a kangaroo, they're like kangaroo, it's like
That's not a shark. This is a shark.
yeah,
But yeah, that's what I would say is my one
number three
thing.
notable thing.
Number three notable thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
First off, our original Jaws coverage was episode 137
Wow.
in 2019. It was in March, so it wasn't a birthday pick.
6 years ago.
Yeah, so it was not a birthday pick.
Oh,
Dang.
It was in March.
I could have sworn it was a birthday
That's what I
pick.
thought too. I thought it was a birthday pick.
Oh wow.
But yeah, so it's been a bit. So at I guess I didn't really do these in order. I just sort of came up with some things. I very similar to what you said, Long, about it being very suspenseful. I love the fact that this plays out like reading a very good book. It's structured very well, where the story just unfolds before you. It gives you the MacGuffin, so to speak, of the story at the very beginning when we see the Krull get attacked, and then we see the build of the characters and the elements around the island to the finale of the film, and it's so well paced. It's 2 hours, but it doesn't feel boring at all. So I really like that. John Williams' score adds tremendously to the suspense and the unfolding of the novel on screen, and in Spielberg's direction. I mean, we didn't realize it when we were young watching this, but we're watching Spielberg right before our eyes, the start of an absolutely incredible career. I know he had directed a couple of things before this, but this is the true beginning of that would lead to E.T. and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Close Encounters and Saving Private Ryan, and just absolutely stunning career the man has had, and begins with Jaws. And I think that's the important part of it, the suspense elements in the novel and the direction. So kind of a mix of one, but just the way the film is presented, I guess, is a fair overall thing to say that.
Yeah. My number two notable thing about Jaws, the music was its own character.
By accident.
By accident.
People forget that. John Williams didn't have a lot of time to make the score.
Yeah.
He kind of came up with it on the fly.
Yeah, and he and in a way that kind of gave this score a very eclectic feel, because you have the dun 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 dun, the famous theme. And on top of that, it goes to a pirate type of melody.
If I remember right, wasn't Spielberg thought he was joking at first? He's like, "John, are you serious? This is what you're turning in?"
Yeah. And I guess during that time when Jaws came out, man, I guess a lot of TV shows and movies made fun of parodied that as well. Kind of like you guys remember how The Matrix, that bullet time thing was just made fun of, like
all over the place.
And Jaws' theme did the same. So yeah, number two, the score. I mean, the score just breathed a lot of life into the movie, and really helped with the suspense and just contributed to it. And it's a great soundtrack to put in the background too, as you're doing busy work or whatever. So yeah. All right, Matt, what's your number two?
I would say it's for me it's its impact on the creature feature genre. After this, I mean, you had alligator, you had crocodile, you had other shark movies. There was one with Sylvester Stallone's daughter, like maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, and where they accidentally come into a cave of with these sharks that are like they're just crazy and they're super man-eating and stuff like that. The Meg 2, and it's like you've got all these shark movies out there now, not just the sequels. But you've got Jason Statham like riding a shark now. They've gotten crazy, and it's all because of Jaws.
You know what? It's a very tough to find a very good shark movie, but I have to admit, I mean, like Deep Blue Sea was not a
Deep
good
Blue
movie,
Sea.
but it's still fun to watch, entertaining.
Yeah.
Guilty pleasure.
Meg is another one. It's guilty pleasure, but I have fun
Mhm.
watching that film. I never saw the Meg 2 though, but I really liked the first Meg film. It was just escapist to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's your number 2. Go on, Mark.
I guess it's an easy one, and it's the relationship between Hooper, Quint, and Brody, and we see these three men who don't really know each other, so they don't trust each other. Not that they distrust each other either, but they're brought into this element from three different worlds of life, and they have to learn to trust each other as they go on this shark hunt. And by we get to the end of the film, you realize that they trust each other enough that they're going to try to survive this. And of course, unfortunately, Quint doesn't make it, but you still feel bad for Quint, and Brody and Hooper do too, because they have developed that relationship. And I think it's an important part of the film, because without those three guys, the movie doesn't go where it goes and doesn't work. As much as the movie is about a giant shark and it's entertaining and it's a spectacle for 1975, without those three guys, none of it works. And I think that's such an important part of the film, and just all three with incredible acting performances in the movie.
Good chemistry.
Yeah, great chemistry. It really comes together when they're getting drunk and laughing and comparing their scars, and just great work from all three men in their roles.
Yeah, and to add to that, that monologue scene that Quint was talking about, the USS Indianapolis, it was originally written by John Milius, and that scene, the original version of that was 3 times longer than what Quint was saying. And since Robert Shaw was an accomplished playwright, he was a very good writer too. And Robert Shaw took what John Milius took and edited it and made a version of what would fit his character and how he would deliver it. And he just got it down to like 1 page monologue instead of 3. And yeah, hats off to Robert Shaw's writing talent and acting delivery on that. It's like, whoa, Agent Red from Russia with Love.
Great actor.
Great actor, talented writer.
Yeah.
Very good scene.
When he did not show up drunk on set.
Yeah.
Which was a known problem Robert Shaw had over the years. Yeah. But he still pulled off the roles.
Classic Irishman.
Yeah.
No, that was a little racist. Number 1. My number 1 thing about Jaws I love the most, notably, is the orca, the boat itself. It's iconic black, red, and white boat. If you ever watch, what was it, that Pokemon movie, Pokemon 2000, they actually had a little homage, and Ash and his crew were on the boat that looks exactly like the orca. They're traveling. And also, I love that boat so much. When Lego released the set to make the orca, it's like one of the funnest builds I've ever had. Have I showed you guys the finished?
You may have.
I might have, yeah. But yeah, it's fantastic. I used to have the Todd McFarlane replica of the orca, and it's being attacked by Bruce the shark. So, but yeah, that's my favorite thing about Jaws. It's the orca.
My favorite thing about Jaws, because of when it was released in the summer and the special effects, 67 million people came to go see it, and it created the blockbuster. And now we get cool films like Jurassic Park, Jurassic World, Godzilla movies, all in the summer. Big budget special effects. every year, even bigger budget, released in the summer, because this lets studios know that you release it in the summer, more people are going to just compile into the movie theaters. And I think it's led to what we see today and some of our favorite films that we've enjoyed in the past. So thank you, Jaws, for giving us other films that we enjoy and that are in our top 5, top 10s, top 20s.
Yeah. Also, before Jaws, the way they released movies was that it was kind of like, okay, Houston gets to show Jaws, and then if it's successful, they'll bring it to another major city. It's kind of like a road show,
Yeah.
where it was kind of like spread out over a period of time. And Jaws was the first one to do a simultaneous release over multiple theaters
I didn't realize that.
within a single weekend. Because,
Wow.
yeah, it was the first one that tried to do nationwide distribution rather than a road show style of movie touring. So, because back in the day, they showed it in major cities first, and if it was successful, then they start bringing it out to the rest of the smaller markets in the country. So, yeah, and then plus involving a worldwide release too. So that's another big factor.
Yeah.
I'm going to steal, I had this on my list. I'm going to steal a bit from Matt, and that's pop culture impact of this film.
Yeah.
If you think the 3 big monster movie franchises of all time, it's Jaws, Godzilla, and King Kong. I think that's hard to argue that. And just the pop culture impact that Jaws has had from the quote, "We need a bigger boat." How many times has that been said and used? That's some bad hat, Harry. We've heard that in multiple things. And I know we just did a Bryan Singer film a couple weeks ago, and I know Bryan Singer is not the most popular man on the planet, but he named his production company after this film because it was his favorite film. That was Bad Hat Harry Productions. And just from McFarlane making action figures to NECA, we've had action figure replicas of the boat and the shark and Brody and Quinn. I remember playing the old Nintendo game back in the day where you had to point the boat and try to stab the shark. It was hard as hell to do, but you were determined to kill this fucking shark on the Nintendo game. And just that impact. There's a very small list of films I think that have had pop culture impacts like Jaws does or Star Wars does, and that's so important because again, we wouldn't be podcasting and talking movies if it wasn't for a film like Jaws, and because it brings that love to cinema and your love for escapism for a couple of hours and to take you to a place that you won't go unless you're at the movies. You can't go in the ocean, but God, hope you don't get bit by fucking sharks. That would suck. And
Yeah.
and I'm the same way, man. I'll go to the beach with a family, but I really don't like the ocean very much at all. And I'm not scared of the water at all. I can swim. Rivers, lakes, which you would think have crocodiles, none of that really scares me. I really don't like the ocean that much. And this movie might have had something to do with that, my subconscious. I don't know. But again, like Matt said, shark attacks are very rare. I think I read that around the world, maybe 55 a year happen. That's a very small amount considering the millions of people that visit beaches every year, and only 55 attacks a year. Actually, maybe it was 155, but it's still not very many. But still, it's like I'm not a big fan of the oceans, and Jaws might have. In fact, a funny story is when I watched this the other night, I went and took my shower, and I guess there was a piece of soap, of the bar soap had fallen in the water, and it hit my foot. It actually made me jump right after watching this movie. I was like, hey, what was that? My foot? So it gets in your subconscious, but definitely pop culture impact of this film is so huge.
Yeah, but yeah, Jaws in a nutshell. Can't say much more about it.
No, man, it deserves its flowers for 50 years of entertaining movie fans across the world and new generations, like you said, showing it to our children and future children or whatever. This is a movie that should be seen by all. And it's funny because I was thinking like I would say maybe 12 and up because it's for a 1975 film, it's not bloody, but the final scene is pretty graphic. Like if this had come out after 1980. PG-5 when they had PG-13, this would have been a PG-13 film easily, because of the some of the hard elements of it, and when Quint's getting bit and blood's gushing out of his mouth, it's pretty intense, So it's definitely an intense film, and they actually cut a couple of things from this film to make it down to PG. Apparently, there was like a
nudity
sex joke in it and some nudity. Yeah, so I thought that was interesting. That's what we're going to make a couple of small cuts in the film.
The death scene of Alex was much gorier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But such a great film, man, and a good one to talk about for its 50th anniversary. All right, but before we get out of here, a little housekeeping to do. So our preview for our next week. Next week in theater, Superman comes out. We're going to wait. We're going to do Superman in a couple weeks. Give people time to go see it. Give us all time to go see it and process it and talk about it. But before we get to that, we are going to go back to the 80s and talk a old sci-fi film that was kind of a cult classic. And Matt's never seen this, and that's why we're kind of doing it, because he had brought up, wanting to maybe see it because he thought the weapon looks cool and stuff. And it is cool, don't get me wrong, Matt. But and I remember that, I think this is another one of those movies that had like weird Nintendo game that was kind of cool. And that is the cult classic movie Krull. It's been a bit since I've seen this. I have this on my Vudu account. I think I bought it on my Vudu account, and I watched it once since I bought it because it was like $5. Mm-hmm. And but it's an interesting piece. It's got some cool creature work and makeup work and some neat stuff in it. So it's not all bad. It's just it's a bit what's the word? It can be a bit of a droll to watch, but it's enjoyable for what it is. And it just might seem a bit of a step back after watching Jaws, but that's okay. I think it'll still be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah.
On the podcast next week before we get to the kickoff of the new DC universe in a couple weeks. But until then, man, the rebelradiopodcast.com, as I mentioned earlier. And thank you all out there for listening. And fellas, this has been Mark.
This has been Matt.
This is Long.
Until next time, stay out of the water and just go there and do it.
And do it.